Are you ready? Click like, follow, and share with your friends. Let's get into it.
Hello, family. Here I am again to tell you my story, how I survived 9/11. For those of you who don't know, I actually lived in New York City for about 15 years. When I was there, I lived through the terrorist attack of the World Trade Center in 2001. I had gotten up that day, just like any normal day at 5:30, prepared myself, got on the subway, headed from Brooklyn into Manhattan to go work out. I had a morning routine of working out every morning and then on my way to work. I arrived at the gym about 6:30 a.m. and with my headsets on, listening to my music, exercising, doing my routine that I normally do. And then as I was there, I noticed on the TV screen that there was a plane flying into the World Trade Center. And it kept repeating, the plane flying into the World Trade Center. I said, oh, wow, what is going on? I didn't think much about it because just a few months earlier, there was a guy paragliding and his parachute got caught on the Statue of Liberty. When you live in a big city like New York City, you come to expect many crazy things happening from crazy people. And I was just wondering, was this another crazy person that is doing something? Had no idea that it was a terrorist attack, that it was probably a small plane, did not know it was even a commercial plane. I continued with my routine. Once I finished, I walked outside. I noticed that the streets were completely crowded. There were so many people on the streets. Also, you could see down in the financial district from the gym, and there was just smoke coming up. Smoke. No World Trade Center, no Twin Towers, just smoke. I was still unaware because I had my headsets on. I didn't know what the people were saying. I arrived at work. Everybody was shocked. How did you get here? I said, the subway. They said, but the subway stopped. There's no public transportation. The subway, buses, taxis, everything stopped. I said, oh, I came in at 6 a.m. and went to the gym. And I think the World Trade Center might have hit like 8:30, 9 a.m. Like there were two attacks, two planes that hit the Twin Towers. One hit before and one hit after. The second plane actually was the one that made the towers collapse. I had no idea that the world was under a terrorist attack. I eventually started watching the news. I got the phone. I called my parents. I let them know that I was safe. Of course, the world knew that we were under a terrorist attack at that moment. But I was able to reach my family, let them know that I was safe. But I had to get home. I didn't know how I was getting home. The subways were not working. There were no taxis. So what did I have to do? I had to walk from Manhattan across the Manhattan Bridge to Brooklyn at home. That walk changed my life. I had to walk south towards the financial district, down the west side, to eventually hit the Manhattan Bridge. But what had happened, and I didn't know, that the people that were on their way to work, they were running and running north for safety. What I saw and the devastation I saw, the closer I got to the financial area to get to the Manhattan Bridge, people covered in soot, faces gray with ashes, people crying. It was a devastating moment. And the closer I got down south of Manhattan, I started smelling a lot of smoke. But I eventually made it to the Manhattan Bridge. It took me about 2 hours, and I made it home, and I was safe. But that day is forever in my memory of an event, a tragic event that happened while I was living in New York City. This is my story. Thanks for watching.
God is living black boy joy.